Here we go. Just stand by, Iain Campbell. We've got a couple of people joining us. We'll give it a minute or two more. You might wonder what's going on today. I know I'm looking a little strange, aren't I? But I've got really bad, it's a bad hair day. Been out in the rain, the rain, the wind. So I'm keeping my hat on. Apologies for that. Look, we've got a guest with us. Look at this. Look at this. Okie dokie. Good afternoon, folks. Welcome to Thoughts from the Kitchen Table. This is Thoughts from the Kitchen Table, version 2, with a guest. Can you believe that? Look who the guest is. It's a rather esteemed guest to kick us off. It's Iain Campbell. Iain, very good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, Colin. It's wonders of modern technology. It's quite something, and I'm loving the hat.
You can't see it. You are such an accomplished liar. You really are. Now, listen, we've talked an awful lot this week about the BRC, about Rally Sweden, and wasn't that an exceptional event? But really, I think all the news between now and 2 weeks' time, the Mid-Wales stages, is going to be the British Rally Championship. Iain, hasn't it come around quickly to start off with? But my goodness me. In terms of the entry list, in terms of the news about the British Rally Championship, it must have exceeded your expectations. It is top quality.
Blown the expectations out of the water, and you're saying it's come round quickly. It's come round way too fast. We have 15 days and so many hours to go until the first car leaves TC0 outside the half run at Newtown, and on the Saturday night. And it's not only the entry list that we've got and the enthusiasm, it's what a start we've got for the championship, because the very first stage is 15 miles over my heron in the dark.
24 kilometres, Iain. We still talk kilometres in this house. This kitchen is a metric kitchen.
Okay, perfect. Well, I'm glad you worked it out very quickly there.
I think I'm just about there. As you say, this is the thing that I'm really excited about, Scunner, is not just the quality of the field, because the field is just astonishing. You have the very best of young British talent, and some of the best talent from Finland, some of the best from Norway, some really top quality drivers there. You've got, which we'll talk about in a second, amazing cars, but the stages, my goodness, you're throwing in names there as if they're just, everyday stages. Stages like Maheron are proper challenges for a national rally championship.
We're starting off with Maheron and Pikes Peak and Sweet Lamb and Halfren for the Mid-Wales. Then we go from there over to the Circuit of Ireland, and we've got Hamilton's Folly. There's other stages that Bobby has told me about for the Circuit of Ireland, but he's also told me that I'll be crucified if I give away any of his route before he's happy to. So we'll say no more about them. But the Circuit of Ireland is just going to be an absolute classic, because we have the European Rally Championship, we've got the Irish Rally Championship, which is just incredible, the entry list that it's got, and we're coming along as well. Then we go to Killer Kielder with the Peretti, which has got such a huge reputation, and such fast stages from there. Then over the border into the Scottish, for my local event, hardly local, it's 5 hours from home, but it's my local event. And we've got A Forest in there, we've got Castleloa, and it's going to be a different one for the British Rally Championship, in that it's just 1 day events, and the rest are all 2 days, but it's got the same mileage, so it's a real challenge. Then we go from there to the nitty-gritty stages, and it's one that's really appealed to me, when we've got gravel on day 1 and 60 miles on Epping tarmac on Sunday. And I just think that's just a great mixture, and going to be fun from there. Ulster, phenomenal stages, new stages, a new venue for Ulster this year. I don't think the rally's been based at Londonderry or Derry for trying to think, probably about 12 years. So that's going to be different for most people from there. And then we finish off back in the island that really is just a motorsport home, with the Isle of Man, and we've got Brandywell Cottage, and we've got a TT course, and we've got everything like that. So yeah, it's got quite a busy year of 7 real classic events coming up. And you were asking about the competition that we have. The drivers that are there are just crazy with. We've already seen what Elfin's doing in the World Rally Championship this year. Frederick Allen gave him...
Frederick Olin. I've been saying it wrong for the past 4 years. Apparently it's Frederick Olin. I got it right once in Sweden. I was very proud of myself.
Good. I've got some other names on here, Colin. I could do with you checking the pronunciations for me.
Oh, go ahead. I love a bit of that. Go on. I am the pronunciation guru in my own head. Go ahead. Try them out on me.
Texting them over to you. But we've got our Italian gentleman, Umberto Corneo.
Oh yeah, that's great. I like the sound of him. Umberto Corneo, yeah, don't know who that is, but I'm sure he's great.
Struggle there, but it's good for him to come. Yeah, it was just, and you were there at the weekend with the 208 coming out, so it was good to see them.
But Ian, I love the sound of these R5 cars, but you have the full complement now of R5 cars. You've got the Ford, which I think right now is the exceptional car in R5. By the way, if you've got any questions for Ian, I'm close enough to the screen to read it just now, so ping your questions in if you're enjoying this little chat with Iain Campbell. I'm sure you are, because I am. You've got the Skoda, which is looking exceptional. You've got the 208. You've got the R5 DS3. That's our full complement. All we need now is Hyundai and Monsieur Nandon to say, yeah, we're going to send the Hyundai along. That in itself is quite some achievement. I don't remember too many rallies where we've had every manufacturer represented in R5. Quite some achievement there.
And the Proton Super 2000 in there as well.
Oh, that's a great car. That's a great car. Built by the marvellous Mellors Engineering. It's a fantastic car.
Yeah. And then you talked about the Hyundai. So yeah, if you can drop us some lines into that one as well when you're speaking to them, that will be much appreciated.
Oh, I'm going to be there.
I'm homologated come the summer.
Yeah, well, next time I'm there enjoying their marvellous hospitality, when I'm having some of their lovely wine and their lovely food, do you know they did foie gras? Where we come from, we don't even know how to spell that, never mind eat it. There's foie gras in the Hyundai hospitality in Monte Carlo. Let me say, it's a little secret, Ian, it was vile. It was absolutely vile.
Is that what caused you to spill the wine on Kevin Abram?
Well, that was the night before, that's another story, but he's still ain't talking to me about that. Oh dear, that was most unfortunate.
We need him and Seb to come over to do some of the rounds in the Hyundai R5 as well, which would be great. It would make the whole thing work really well from there. Somebody just put up on a question there, Colin, about how the double scores work on the Isle of Man. The double scores, the Isle of Man is quite simple in that it will be about 160 miles. I'll let you work that one out.
240 k's, roughly. Just add another half on again. 240, 244 k's, about 245 maybe.
A monster event of 23 stages. And if you complete that mileage and that number of stages, you will get double points. The event's not split in any format whatsoever. Once you get to the finish, you get your points. So
you're adopting the WRC, the ERC point system, 25 for a win, 18 for a second. Is that how you're doing it? And it's 50 points. Oh, look, there's a puzzled expression on your face. Can I tell me the point system before I dig myself deeply into the doo-doo?
You've got all my technology open in front of me here, and I haven't got my regs to hand.
But you must know that. You must know the point scoring system. Your guru of all that is BRC, the man who has driven this championship from the pits, from the absolute pits, Iain Campbell. You've dragged it up by a scruffy old neck and you've dragged it in to the 21st century kicking and screaming. You're going to give us a fabulous event, but you can't tell us the point scoring system.
You get 25 points for a win, Colin. I'll tell you that. I think it's 15 for a second.
No.
We have changed it. It's,
all right, okay.
It's very much a case of the points are there for winning, and it's not going to be something you can win by consistency.
You know, I disagree. We could have an argument about that, and you know I like a good argument occasionally. I think you've got every right to win a championship by consistency. I don't think it always has to be about outright speed, but I see what you're doing, and I absolutely support what you're doing. So Isle of Man, it's not two events, it's not one event up to stage 10 and then another event from stage 11 to stage 20. It is literally, you finish, you get 50 points. You finish first, you get 50 points. You finish second, you get 30 points.
Absolutely, but we also have something different as well. We have the Joker points, which we're running throughout the year. And the Joker points are, actually I was right, Colin, 25 points for a win, 15 points for second, 10 points for third.
Well, I'm very pleased, on this occasion, I'm very pleased that you're right and I'm wrong, because I'd be very concerned. I'd be very concerned if you'd been wrong on that one.
The other thing is the Joker points now. The Joker, I think, is something that shall be quite exciting through the year, especially when we see the number of top competitors that we've got coming to each round.
Explain that one to us. Explain that, Ian. How does the Joker system work? I saw that. I saw you mentioning something about you have to nominate your Joker rounds in advance. Explain to us what the Joker concept is, how it works.
I need to be notified a week before the rally starts that you wish to play your Joker on that rally. Now, if say Marion Evans in the DMAC Junior BRC class is feeling confident on his home rally that he will score well on that rally. He could play his joker, and if he wins the class, he gets 25 points for that. And because he's played his joker, we will double the points that he's scored. Okay. You can play it once over the first 6 rounds of the championship. So it's definitely the rally that you don't want to have an issue on. You want to make sure you score strongly.
So it's double whatever your points are. You don't have to win to then have the value of your joker. It's double whatever. So if you're 4th or 5th and you pick up whatever that might be, 10 or 8 points, that doubles if you played your joker.
Yes. Brings a new tactical situation into the whole championship. We've got 6 rounds out of 7 that count for all the classes bar the juniors. So it means that you can have a couple of off events and then use your joker to get you back.
Fabulous stuff, Ian. We're learning, aren't we, folks? We're learning from Iain Campbell. He's a very intelligent man, a bright man. He's a man with a brain that is more able to deal with things than mine. Tell you what, I sat down a couple of times with Ian, maybe 18 months, 2 years ago, just to discuss the state of the BRC. Gave me a headache. It gave me a headache. But this man went away and he thought about it all, and he's come up with, I think, just an incredible solution to what was a terrible mess 2 years ago in the BRC. He's doing a fabulous job. Ian, it's great to hear from you. I'm going to put you on the spot now, Iain Campbell, manager of the BRC. Is that what we call you? What do we call you? Director of the BRC? Are you director yet? Are you still a manager?
No, BRC manager, I think is the title. We will find out in a fortnight's time just how the managing is going, but BRC manager is the title.
Yeah, no, that's fully deserved. I'm going to put you on the spot, Iain Campbell, manager of the BRC manager. I'll call you director, because I think you're director. Director of the BRC, that's my own little name for you. I'll come up with a new one at some point, don't you worry, Iain Campbell.
Oh, I know that.
Putting you on the spot, top 3. I'm lost as to who may well be the top 3 drivers. 3 to watch in the BRC. We'll not even call them your top 3. Give us Iain Campbell, as he consults his notes, the 3 to watch in your opinion, and we'll let you off the hook a little bit here. The first round of the BRC. Who are the 3 to watch?
In the BRC 1 class...
I'm only interested in BRC 1. I know that that's a bit unfair, but we've got limited time. We'll discuss all the other juniors at some point. BRC 1.
Tom Cave is definitely somebody to watch. Tom Cave will be very quick. How will Ewan Thorburn go? He always goes well in Wales, so that's always one in there as well. We've got the obvious one with Elfin, we just, he's going to be the benchmark for everybody. Who to watch? Olin is going to be great. Once you tell me how to pronounce his name properly again.
Frederick Olin.
And Rhys Yates did very, very well at the weekend in the Cambrian. That's a lad who's just very strong.
I think he could. Someone just tried to call me, Ian. I didn't know they could do that when I was periscoping. How awfully rude. If you were trying to call me there, go away. I'm talking to Iain Campbell. Here's what I think. You're going to have to watch out for. Elfyn Evans is the obvious one. He is the class of the field by a long way. He's the class of the field when it comes to WRC2 as well. So I'm not putting down any of our British Rally Championship drivers. Elfyn Evans, for me, is the most exciting young talent in the world right now. He is right there, and I tell you what, Evans will have his pick of the WRC teams at the end of this year. Mark my words, he will have his pick of the WRC teams. So he's the one to watch in my view. I think you're right about Cave, although Tom has to be on form. He can blow hot, he can blow cold, but Tom is certainly one to watch. But I think the other real quality, who I think has just been unlucky and is, for me, world class as well, is the young lad from Southern Ireland who's just announced his participation today. Remind me.
Keith Cronin.
Keith Cronin. Always forget his name. I'm terrible. Keith Cronin. I'm terrible. Keith Cronin. So I think those 3 are the boys to watch for me. But I would throw in there David Bogie, Ewan Thorburn, the couple of guys that you mentioned as well. This is why it's so difficult. We haven't got a 2 or 3-way fight here. We've got a 6, 7, 8-way fight, potentially, depending on conditions, for the win in the opening round. It's phenomenally exciting, Ian.
How's Max Wachman going to do?
Because that's
completely unknown, I think. And I think that's a really exciting result. Actually, the top 10 is impossible to tell. Don't try to get us down to top 3. Top 10 is impossible to tell.
I'd agree with you. And Max Vatanen, by the way, he's a young driver who's impressed me. I was a little bit A little bit undecided when we first saw him in the junior category. He crashed a lot, but he certainly had glimpses of pace. He's found some consistency over the last 12 months, which suggests to me that he ties that with his pace, and he for sure is a podium contender. There are so many podium contenders. There should be one winner, and the winner should be, without any doubt, Elfyn Evans, in my view. But then the podium, the other two places in the podium, any 2 from 10.
Yeah, absolutely, but I mean, you're saying that Evans is there, but what a benchmark to have. If you come out of the first 2 stages on Saturday night in mid-Wales, and you see that you are so many tenths or so many seconds per kilometre from Elfyn, you can then work on what you're going to do on Sunday, and then you can see just how quick you're going to be, and how you're going to improve. And then
yes.
You're going to do that right through the year. It's a brilliant educational tool as well. It's a great thing for developing everybody. Somebody just called Marty McCormick.
Yeah.
Marty's going to be great in the Super 2000, Fabio, because he knows that car inside out.
Ian, again, I'm not blowing hot here because I don't do that. I'm a lot of people. You know that I'm outspoken at times. You know that I like to speak my mind. What I don't do is blow hot air. I'm always very honest with whatever I say, and I've always got a very good reason for saying it. And what I'd have to say is what you've achieved with this field is almost unbelievable, because what we talked about all that time ago, and what you talked about with many, many other people, Ian, was the fact that really what we wanted to do with this championship, what you wanted to do, and what Ben Taylor wanted to do, was to take it back to its heyday. And its heyday was all about the greatest drivers, young drivers in the world, coming to GB to cut their teeth, and knowing that if they won the British Rally Championship, they were put right up there in terms of the shop window for the World Rally teams. And I firmly believe that that's what you've done here. I firmly believe that, Ian. I think as the season goes on, you will get more and more drivers of quality joining your field. I think you've got an enormously strong field already. And I think you're almost there in terms of putting the British Rally Championship back as the go-to championship for young drivers around the world.
It's very nice of you to say, Colin, but there's a lot of things in there that we've got the bounce of the R5 cars becoming more available. We have a lot still to do, and that's a lot of work to do right through the year to make sure that we carry on with this. But for first steps, it's brilliant where we are just now. A lot of work to be done, and really looking forward to getting stuck into it.
Ian, fantastic. It's been an absolute delight having you as my guinea pig on my new thoughts from the kitchen table with my mate on the computer. What a fine guinea pig you've been, Iain Campbell. The finest.
Fine. Thank you very much. Any other experiments, you know where to call.
Fabulous. Listen, guys, thank you very much indeed for joining us. It'll be a bit of a longer one today, but a different format, trying something new. Thoughts from the kitchen table with our PC, our laptop. What do we call these things? Mac, what do we call the MacBooks, don't we? I've only had it for about 10 years. I think it's called a MacBook. No, it's not a MacBook. What do you call the Mac desktop Macs, Iain Campbell? What do you call them?
Well, I was doing the MacBook or whatever.
Yeah, anyway, something like that. Guys, thank you all very much indeed for joining us. I know there have been quite a few of you along. It's really exciting. British Rally Championship. He's the man who's responsible for it all in the main. Thank you very much. Join us probably next week now. iMac. Thank you. Someone's just pinged it up. It is an iMac. Thank you very much indeed. iMac was the word we were looking for, Scunner Campbell. Folks, thanks very much indeed. Don't forget, you can tweet me at Voice of Rally. You can tweet the British Rally Championship at MSA_BRC. So Voice of Rally or MSA_BRC if you've got any thoughts on what the wonderful Iain Campbell had to say today. Thanks very much, guys. Join us again from the kitchen table some point in the future.
Bye-bye.